DreAllDay.com.
What up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. We're here for Q&A number 24. As always, I'm reading these questions for the first time. I'm going to go through each one, answer to the best of my abilities. If I've already covered it in writing or in video, I'll refer you to that video or that post where you can read it off my website or off my YouTube channel. I try to go through these quickly so I can get to everybody's question. I don't want this video to be too long because I want everybody to get their question addressed. If you got a super long or very detailed question, you can send it to me directly where we can communicate one-on-one. Email me, Dre@DreAllDay.com, or you could just go to my website, which is DreAllDay.com, and click on the button that says contact, and you can email me straight through there. So let's get right into these without further ado. Raul Sanchez says, Dre, are you ever going to play in the NBA? Answer is, we'll see. We got to see what happens. Well, I got to see what happens, and then if something happens that you need to know about, that means everybody, and I'm going to let y'all know. Harry Sherwood says, what techniques or drills can you do to develop backspin on your shot? Harry, we actually just did a video with Pro Shot Shooting System Coach Hoover, who's an expert on shooting. He also offered a free ebook, 100% free. It's 100 pages long. Everything about shooting that you would ever want to know. You go to the video. It's a Q&A with Coach Hoover from Pro Shot Shooting System. Go to my channel, go to the playlist, click on collaboration playlist. You'll see that two-part video, and you can actually get that ebook for free with all the answers to your questions about shooting. Stephen B says, do I think it's too late to start basketball at age 13? No. Ultra S Cerebral says, should I warm up my shot before playing some pickup? That's up to you. Whether you want to warm up or you need to warm up, it's up to you to figure out what you need to do before you play ball. Roe123 says, why do I land on 1 foot after a jump shot in my videos? Because that's the way that works for me. You see the ball going in the basket, don't you? Beastie Boy 818 says, when you do workouts, is it better to work out one section a day, like legs, arms, etc., or do the whole body? And he heard it's bad to use ankle weights and chest weights when training. Is this true? Well, as far as working out one section a day, like legs, arms, etc., or doing a full body, I know people who've done both. They do a combination. Maybe 1 week they do breaking it down piece by piece, and another week they do total body circuit workouts. There is no one right or wrong way to work out. Just as long as you know what you're doing, you got proper technique and form, you're not injuring yourself, any technique of working out can get results. You got to figure out what works for you, and you also got to have some information and knowledge to know what you're doing when you're working out. And if you need some information, you can get the Ultimate Athlete 15-week off-court training program written by my trainer, Maria Solon-Scally. That's available at hoophandbook.com. As far as the ankle weights and chest weights, don't base your thoughts and opinions on what you heard other people say. Did you hear from somebody who has some real information or have they accomplished anything athletically that you want to accomplish? If they did, then you probably wouldn't be asking me this question. So base your information on your own knowledge. It means things that you've experienced, not something that you heard somebody say who has no credibility to be saying it. Because like I said, if they had credibility, you wouldn't be asking me. Jay Sherian 48 says, I'm playing in a basketball league. His teammates don't want to work together. They don't want to put in the work to get better. Every time he carries the team on offense and defense, what can he do to improve being a one-man army, try to get his teammates in the game? Have ever been in that situation where you have lazy teammates? The only thing you can do is control your output. You control your effort. You control your attitude. You control your performance. So that's the number one thing you need to concern yourself with. Stop worrying about what your teammates are not doing good, why they're lazy and all that stuff. You're talking about that. You didn't say anything about yourself except that you're carrying the team on offense and defense. Well, keep carrying them then. I mean, if you're a good player, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So keep carrying the team. You can try to put players in a position to do what they can do. Everybody on the team might not be as good as you. They might not be able to do all the things that you do. So you need to cover the gaps. That's one of the responsibilities of being a leader, of being the best player in the group, is you got to do a little bit more than everybody else. So if you don't want that responsibility, then you probably are in the wrong position or on the wrong team. Next question. One Thunder One says, how do you get the ball to roll off your fingers correctly? Because every time I follow through, my hand feels weird. Well, there is no correctly in my opinion, but as I referred to the Pro Shot Shooting System collaboration video I did a few weeks ago earlier in this video, you can watch that and read the ebook also, which is free, and get all the information. So this information is out there and it's free for y'all. So y'all keep asking me these same questions. Obviously, y'all not taking advantage of the free information that's being handed to you. So, I mean, I don't understand why y'all still having these problems when the answers are right there in front of you and it costs you nothing except your attention and your time. So y'all got to look at this information that's already been shared with you, get it, read it, internalize it, and then work on your game. And I don't know what you mean by your hand feeling weird. I can't feel what you feel, and I don't have no idea what you mean by weird. So you would have to really quantify that a whole lot better than just telling me something feels weird. Michael S. says, I'm a complete beginner to basketball. He got the shooting hoop handbook, and he talks about the program. One day in the program, there are about 200 made shots, but he's a complete beginner. He can't even make 50 shots in one drill in 2 hours. Should he reduce the number of shots or follow the program and just do what I can? I think you can reduce the number of shots, Michael, since you're a complete beginner, just to get a basis for making shots. As you get better at making, let's say, 50 shots, then you go up to 60, 70, 80, 90. And then by the time you get good enough to get 200 shots made in 2 hours, then you can do that. Or any number of shots in whatever amount of time. It's not necessarily those exact numbers. Bree Markello 7 says, can I make a video focusing only on defensive techniques? B Markel, I got an entire playlist focused on defensive techniques. You go to my channel, go to the playlist, click on the one that says defense, or search the one that says defense, and you'll see that I have several videos which make up a playlist all about defense. Sweet Negative 74, what are some solo shooting drills a post player should do the most, and what is your go-to post moves? Solo shooting drills a post player should do the most. There is no such animal. There's no such thing that every post player should do the most. Every player has their own game. If you watch basketball, which I'm sure you do, you've seen Kevin Garnett play, you've seen Tim Duncan, you've seen Karl Malone, you see Blake Griffin, you see Kevin Love. Do all those guys play exactly the same? No. Are all those guys all-stars? Yes. So it's not about any one certain way that any player is supposed to play, or any one shot, or any one drill, or even a series of drills. You got to figure out what your game is. That's the first thing you got to figure out. What is your game? Once you figure that out, then you'll know exactly what you need to work on, because you'll just work on developing the skills that match the game that you want to have. What's my go-to post move? I don't really consider myself to have go-to moves. I use whatever is necessary in the situation. If I got a smaller guy on me, then I'm usually going to see me shooting a lot of turnarounds. The fadeaway shot is a good shot for me. If I got a bigger guy on me, then I might try to drive to the basket, maybe back him up with my quickness, my foot speed, my handle off the bounce, and still get a shot off if I can get him to give me some space. So it's not necessarily about a go-to move. It's just about taking advantage of whatever the situation is on the floor, but you have to have the skills to be able to do it. Because if you ain't got no turnaround jumper, even if it's a small guy on you, you can't use it to beat him. Manuel Dayon says, hope I make the NBA one day. You deserve it. Keep up the hard work. Thank you, Manuel. Chili Claw says, can I spin the basketball on my finger? Probably for like half a second. So the answer, I guess, by what you mean, like somebody actually spinning it around and standing there, no. Mr. Big Shot Boyle says, do I think Shabazz Napier would be a good NBA player? How often I watch college basketball? I have no idea how good he's going to be in the league. I heard he's moving up in the draft boards, but I don't know why that would matter. And how often do I watch college basketball? Not at all. I watch March Madness, some of the games, but that's it. Abdul Mansade says, who was the best coach you ever had? That's a good question. Best coach I ever had, I ain't going to put too much thought in this. The best coach I ever had, I say the coach who coached me when I was 16 years old, when I was in high school in a rec league in the neighborhood, because he's the first person who actually put the ball in my hands, like ran plays for me and said, we're going to give you a chance to show that you are like a solid player, a contributor, like the man on this team. And I came through, so that was huge for me. You can read about that in my book, Buy a Game, DreAllDay.com/buyagame. That's BUYAGAME. I'm going to change the links up on my site soon, probably by the time the next video comes out within this week coming up. So that will actually be on the front page of DreAllDay.com, so I won't have to keep saying that link. Johnny Cabbe says, Dre in the game, other players be starting to talk shit. Should I talk shit back, or should I put my hands up and get ready to fight? Why would you have to do one or the other? Why can't you just say nothing and keep playing? Nothing's stopping you from doing that. You choose your own reaction, so you can't ask me to tell you if you should fight or talk shit back to somebody. You also had the option of not saying shit and acting like you didn't hear it. Just because somebody says something to you don't mean you have to do anything. You don't have to say nothing back. You don't have to fight back. You don't have to do anything at all. You can keep being you. Just because somebody says something to me, like if you were playing in the game and somebody in the crowd, let's say you was in the NBA, and somebody in the crowd is talking shit to you, you going to fight them or talk shit to the fan, or you going to keep playing and doing your job? So it's not an either or thing. Joshua Clinton says, he asked me something about playing anybody in verse 1. I just covered that last week. Spider Jam 2710 says his question is, I have a good jump shot. I can shoot threes. But my issue is finishing in the paint, either simple layups or spin layups. I don't know what he means by spin layup. He said he can't finish around any size player no matter what. What kind of a mindset should he have? The mindset you should have, Spider Jam, is to go to the court when there ain't no players around and work on your game so you can make a fucking layup. You can't make a layup and you shouldn't be playing any games. So you don't need a mindset. The only mindset you need is go practice by yourself and make a layup. Well, how you got good at shooting threes and jump shots but you can't make a layup makes no sense to me. You practicing backwards. David Hall says, Dre, keep up the good work. I'm enjoying the weekly motivation. Thank you, David. He says, my life and my game increased due to that. Keep up the good work. WOYFG for life. Glad to hear that, David. Next question. Chewy Ortiz says, you went to the NBA draft. What team would you like to be drafted by? People ask me the same question every week. It doesn't matter. Any team. Thomas Jimenez says, what can I do at night to get better? Same thing you do during the day. Scar Smiley XX says, what's the correct way to shoot? I don't see there being a correct way, but if you want to hear somebody tell you what is the quote-unquote correct, refer to the Pro Shot Shooting System video I talked about earlier in this video. James Blair says, have I tried Nike Elite socks? Yes, of course. I've worn them several times. I don't go out and buy a bunch of pairs, but yes, I've worn them. Don't feel no different to me. Ethan Whitworth said, thanks for answering this question. You're welcome. Jake the Boss says, in playing basketball, have I ever felt like I had a lack of confidence, and so how did it affect your game? If I ever did have a lack of confidence in any, I can't think of any specific situation, but if I did, then it would affect my game by making me play worse or causing me, leading me to play worse. If you don't have confidence, then how you want to get out there and do the things you're capable of? Confidence is the thing that allows you to do what you're capable of. Skills is being capable, and confidence is actually doing the things that you're capable of doing. Gregory Baldwin says, you ever met any NBA player besides Kevin Durant and James Harden? Yes, I met several NBA and ex-NBA players. If you go to my website, dreallday.com, I actually talk about that in the frequently asked questions site labeled FAQ, FAQ. T-Town Soul says, am I going to keep making runs and get signed by NBA team? Somebody already asked me that. I appreciate y'all asking, but it ain't really nothing else to tell you. Unless you hear some news from me, I have nothing new to tell you about that. But I don't have a problem with y'all asking. Juan Cruz Guerrero says, have you ever thought of making a Nate Robinson signature workout program? Maybe. Nate Robinson might happen, but don't hold your breath on it just yet. Beast45555 says, I love your vids and inspire me to work harder. He wants to know, including the signature workouts are different than what's on YouTube. We get into the mental game. I covered this a couple weeks ago. We get into the mental game. We get into describing all the workouts and drills that you're going to do in detail so you know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. And the distance is just seeing the video description, just seeing the video and seeing what's happening. You're going to actually get to read what's happening. We get into the mental side of the game, why you're working on different areas of the game. Everything, of course, is put into categories based on the skills of the player whose program you have. So you're working on skills based on that player's game. And at the beginning of the program, we got a detailed introduction explaining what that player is doing, or how it's going to apply to your game, and how you need to apply it mentally to your game is sprinkled throughout the program. So hopefully that gives you a good answer. David Stapleton says, what's the process? Wait a minute. He says, his question, he said, what's the process of going to the NBA? There is no process. I mean, you just got to get chosen by a team. NBA is a job, just like working at McDonald's. The same way you got to get a job at McDonald's, you got to get a job at the NBA. Same thing. Philip Asiama says, I'm currently in my preseason. He trains strength training 3 days a week, conditioning with his coach, but his fitness level seems to be going down. He wants to do the ultimate athlete, but he doesn't want to interrupt his preseason workouts. Do I have any tips or advice? Well, Philip, you seem to have answered your own question. If you're in the middle of preseason workouts and you don't want to interrupt them, then what are you going to do? Quit? I think that's the only other thing you could do is quit doing preseason workouts, but you can't do that because then you won't be on the team anymore. So I don't understand what you're asking me for advice for. If you're going to do the ultimate athlete and you can't do it at the same time as the preseason workouts, then you just can't do it. Maybe you're just going to have to wait until preseason workouts are over. Harris Kaus says, at what age did I sign my first pro contract and where? Harris, go to my website, dreallday.com, and read it. I've already written about that. Harry Sherwood says, what techniques or drills can you do to develop backspin on your shot? I think I already read that question. Joel Areola says, would I become a gym teacher or a coach in any school? A gym teacher? Hell no. A coach? No. Fang Earn Fu says, Dre, how did you improve decision making and passing? When he drives and know when to pass to, someone calling his name and he doesn't know what to do. Can I give him some tips on passing, like the how, when, and where stuff? Fang, if you want to learn how to pass better and in what situations you need to actually play basketball, playing games. It's not like I can show you a video of me and say I passed it to this guy because when you get in the game, it's not going to be the same situation. There's never an exact same situation that happens twice in basketball. Even with the same 10 players, it's never going to be exactly the same. Because even if you put everybody in the exact same spots, the players have different knowledge because they've had different experiences between the first time and the last time. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And then if you change any variable, any one of those 10 players, everything changes. Game situation changes, the score changes, positions change, what players think and know about the other players on the floor, all of that changes. So you have to actually play in games to develop instinct and IQ. I made a video about that about 2 weeks ago, so you should go back and check that video, how to develop instincts for basketball and basketball IQ. JM Polo says, who would I pick, Andrew Wiggins or Jabari Parker? I didn't watch either of them play that much. I don't really care that much. I don't really get too much into the draft prognostications. I just want to see the actual games when they actually get on the court. So I have no opinion. Dante Allen says, how long am I going to play ball and make videos, and how do you have confidence going to the hole? As far as having confidence going to the hole, I made a video about that. Just search my name and type in aggressive. Dre Baldwin, aggressive. I made a video about driving to the hole, having confidence in it. And how long am I going to play ball and make videos? I'll play ball as long as I physically feel like playing, physically and mentally. And posting videos on YouTube, I'll be doing that a long time. I'll probably still have videos to post when y'all ain't playing no more. So that ain't ending no time soon. As long as YouTube's around, I'll be around. And Johnny says, when people dribble, should a person dribble hard to dribble better with the basketball? It's not really about should. You got to figure out what works for you. I can't go to another player and say he should do this way. If it works for him, it works for him. If it works for you, it works for you. So you got to figure out what works for you. It's not really about what anybody else does. It's about what's working best for you. So if you want to know if something's going to work for you, go work on it. See if it does. Use it in the game. See if it works for you. If it does, keep doing it. If it doesn't, stop doing it. Simple as that. Stankim99 says, how tall was I age 15 if I remember? I don't remember, and I want to lie to you, so I can't make up an answer to that. James Holyfield says, can I tell you some more? Can I tell y'all, some more about my career? Go to my website, dreallday.com. I done told you everything you need to know and more. D-Roy Adams says, I never played organized ball, but I have skills for the NBA. Do you think they will let me, or do I got a chance? Well, D-Roy, if you got skills for the NBA, you need to go play some organized ball and prove it. Don't tell me in a YouTube comment. Nobody believes you. Ballaholic559 says, which program of yours can help strengthen your back and core? Thanks for the vids. Keep up the good work. Ballaholic, best program for strengthening would be Ultimate Athlete, which is no equipment, or Position of Power, which is using equipment and a gym if you actually have access to a facility. Or you can get both in a complete athletic package, all available at hoophandbook.com. iHydro HD says, how would I describe a bad shot? Because I'll be wide open. I'm a good shooter, but if he would barely miss, his coach says it's a bad shot, and he's confused because he thinks it's a good shot, but just poor execution. Well, Hydro, I would actually have to see the actual game situation. It's not like I can say if you shoot from right here, it's a bad shot. Depends on your skills, the game situation, the philosophy of the team. And since the coach told you it's a bad shot, why don't you open your mouth and ask him why? Why are you asking me when he's the coach? If he said it to you, ask him what he means if you're confused. So if somebody tells you something you're confused about, why would you just walk away and not say nothing? Rishba Merota says, he watched almost all my dribbling videos. I don't believe you did, because I have over 200 of those. But anyway, let's see what his question is. He says, I like the drills, think they'll help me a lot. The thing is, he doesn't know which ones to practice. Can I give him a couple of tips on choosing the right drills for him? Well, I don't know you, so I can't tell you what would be the right drills for you. You would have to kind of figure that out unless I was able to see you in person. I couldn't tell you what the right drills for you are. If you want just one simple thing to do the simple daily dribbling drills, 100 of each of those bounces every single day. You don't have to do nothing else. Your handle will be good in 5 years, guaranteed. Amari says, when and why did I start playing basketball? Amari, read my book, Buy a Game, which I referred to earlier in this video. Link is also in the video description. Siobhan Daly says, what does the NBA look for in height? Most players, when there are thousands of talented basketball players who are small guards who are 5'10 and 5'9. He says, why does the NBA look for height? Well, Siobhan, NBA doesn't, I wouldn't say the NBA necessarily looks for height. It's the phenomenon of natural selection. Since the basket is 10 feet tall, being closer to the basket gives you the most advantage. So you see a lot of 7-foot guys playing basketball, and it slowly descends from there. It's not like a 5'9 or 5'10 guy can't play in the NBA. It's just not that many of them. So I wouldn't say the NBA looks for height. There are thousands of talented basketball players. Yeah, being a talented basketball player doesn't mean you belong in the NBA. The NBA has 500 jobs, so it could be 1 million talented players. It's still only going to be 500 in the NBA. If it was 1 million 7-footers, it's still, they wouldn't put all 1 million in the NBA. It's just not enough spots for it. There's a finite number of positions in that league. It's a job just like anything else. JK says, if I play in the NBA, will I still post videos or updates? Yes, I will. And what drives me to post videos on this channel? Because it's my channel. It's what I do. I was the first one doing it. I've done the most of it, and I don't plan on stopping. That's why. Raul says, how was my time? I had tweeted or Instagram that I was in California. He says, how was my time in California? Actually, if you go to Nightwing or Jerron's channels on YouTube or the Twitters, you'll see that they posted video from some pickup games we played. If you go to my Twitter, you'll see I retweeted it. So you can see those videos. If you just go to my Twitter, which is Dre All Day, you'll see the links to the videos that I retweeted that they posted on YouTube of us playing pickup ball when I played out there in Cali with Nightwing, Jerron, and Benny. Unified Ball was last week. Travis says, I play ball at a local park, and a lot of pretty girls watch me, and I want to impress them. Should I play hard or just shoot threes and act cocky when I score? Travis, you ain't going to ask me to tell you how to play basketball in front of girls. If you can play, then you don't even need to think about that. Top Knot Sports says, he posted a vid of his shot, and can I please shout him out? I feel his tutorials will help other people. Top Knot Sports, well, now I just said your name, and I just read your question, so now everybody heard it. Elvis Gonzalez says, my friends say that I look like I shouldn't be tired on the court. When I play intensely, I get really tired, and I do a lot of running every day. But he didn't ask me a question. Kendrick Lemire says, when I play one-on-ones, he said he lives in Florida. He can't find an empty gym at any times. It means he has to practice outdoors, but he'd rather find an empty indoor gym. Kendrick, if you know how to use the internet, that means you know how to use Google. And since you know how to read and write, you can find a gym. If you're looking for a gym, you can Google it and find it. I don't understand people ask me where can they find a gym as if they don't know how to read and write. Like, y'all know how to use the internet. You on YouTube, so that means you know how to use Google. So if you want to find a gym, you'll find one. Ray Meza says he predicted that the Spurs will win the NBA Finals in 5 games. All right, Ray, congratulations. Hayes Babyface says, Dre, sometimes when I play ball, I have adrenaline. Sometimes I feel like I have no energy. Does that ever happen to you? I guess it could happen sometimes, but that's all mental. That's not about physical. That's more mental than anything. So you need to work on getting yourself prepared for every game at the same level. Trevon Poli says, after collaborating with the Pro Shot Shooting System, video I talked about earlier, did I use any of their methods such as shooting with the index finger, etc.? No, not really, I didn't. Lakers fan 2425 says, have I ever heard of a song called Now I'm Talking About by G Unit and Grinding All My Life by Hit Boy? If so, which version do I like better? I haven't listened to either one enough to really pick one. Alexander Donlon says, who do I think is better, Trey Burke or Michael Carter Williams? I haven't watched enough of either one of them to give you a good answer to that. Zach Robertasio says, he saw in my videos that sometimes I put the ball to the side when I'm driving, like a running back will hold a football. Is that to protect the ball? If so, he's assuming that I do that to keep it protected. Well, it depends on the game situation. It's not necessarily I do the exact same thing every single time. It just depends on the game situation or the practice situation or move I'm doing. So it's not necessarily about me doing it every time. It's more about the situation that I'm in, whether that be practice or a game or what I'm envisioning. Chewy already asked me a question. Christian Irons says, I'm 13 and he plays 8th grade basketball as the point guard. He averages 19 points a game. What are some things he can do to get noticed by college scouts? Christian, you can step your game up and play good. If you're a good player, the scouts will notice you. It's not like any certain gimmicks or anything you need to do to get noticed. If you got game, they're going to find you. If you ain't got no game, then nobody's going to pay attention to you. If you want more detail, you can actually go to my website, go to the guides and tips page at dreallday.com and read what I've written in detail about getting some scholarship chances for yourself as a prospective college basketball player. David Egan says, I have decent footwork, but I find it hard to move my feet quickly enough to make the stutter step effective. Any workouts or tips that can help his foot speed and overall footwork? And I actually had replied to that. Didn't mean to, but I did. I gave him the speed and quickness playlist. That's on my YouTube channel. You can also check out the Ultimate Athlete program, 15-week off-court training. Cole Shelbert says, how do you protect the ball and drive into the basket? I get ripped a lot. I got a video on that, how to protect the ball and drive into the basket. Just go to the search bar right at the top of the screen, type in Dre Baldwin, protect the ball, and you'll see that video. Will Diaz says, is playing basketball outdoors bad for you? No, Will, that don't make no sense, and you already know the answer to that question. Jeezy Dog says, what about a Jabari Parker workout program? Well, he has to play in the NBA first. Joshua Wong says, have I ever ankle broke someone? Yes. Has anyone ever ankle broke me? And I don't know how you define ankle break, like make you fall, like something crazy. Nobody ever made me fall crazy, but anybody ever crossed me over, of course. Gordon Siu says, what would I rank myself in the country? Well, I'm not in high school or college. Well, actually, college don't even have rankings. I'm not in high school, so I never even thought about being ranked anything. Frosty Breast says, can I make a video on what exactly a player should look for when examining game film or another NBA player, such as how he sets up his moves, how his feet are aligned, protect the ball, things like that? It'd be good if I did something like that for multiple players. With Frosty, I actually just put out a video the other day of Stephen Curry move. I did a couple of Chris Paul. I'll have more in the future. Those will come. So it's not necessarily about what to look for when watching films. There's a million things you could look for. I feel like a lot of players get so caught up in analyzing what other people are doing, they forget to analyze what they're doing and put in the actual work, which is the main thing that's going to get you there. You can watch other people and talk about them all day, but until you put in the work, it don't matter what you think or what you point out as somebody else. I don't care who it is. You got to put in the work if you want to be good. But eventually I will put out a little bit more of those. But don't sit and wait on that. Like, that's the thing keeping you from getting better. The only thing that's going to keep you from getting better is the work that you don't put in on your own. Cliff Stevens says, can I give him some advice on the right way to set his feet when he shoots? Cliff referred to the same video I referred to 4 times already in this one, Pro Shot Shooting System Q&A. Two Clutch says, I love the videos. Thank you, Two Clutch. What sports did I play when I was younger? I played a little bit of football, played some baseball, then basketball. Albert Dixon says, is it possible to go to a basketball league like the NBA D-League or any outer state? I guess he means overseas maybe. At 18 without a high school diploma? Well, Albert, it depends on how much game you got. If you got game, then anything's possible. If you ain't got no game, then the answer is no. So I don't have nothing to do with your high school diploma. At least not to me it doesn't. But I'm not the decision maker that will have to sign you at the same time. 8 Bryant says, what inspired me to do YouTube? Nothing inspired me to do YouTube. I put a video up here many years ago for myself. A couple people saw it, left comments that they liked it, asked me to put up another one, did another one, another one, another one, and the rest is history. We had almost 4,000 now. Eli Classfield says, when you're in the game and you shoot, do I only focus on the rim or do I focus on the shooting mechanism and my form? I don't focus on anything. When I'm in the game and I shoot, I just shoot. I'm not thinking about anything at all. Frosty posted another question. 1 question per, everybody, if you didn't know that. Dimitri says, who I think is going #1 in the draft now that Joel Embiid is injured? I have no idea. I don't even really care. I just want to see the games. I don't care about the draft. Raylis Comte says, I feel like I lost my shot. Is that even possible? I don't know. You tell me if it's possible. I have no idea if it's possible for you to lose your shot. I think you should be answering that question instead of asking me. So thank you, everybody, for the questions. That's it for the Q&A this week. Had a lot of comments. Anybody got questions that haven't already been covered, even though I covered everything? I know people going to ask me the same shit, but I don't have a problem answering it as long as y'all want it to be answered. Leave them in the comments to this video. Do not reply to questions anybody else posts. I will get to them myself. That's that. Work on your game. Dre all day. Add a guaranteed 10 inches to your vertical, not a maybe 10 inches. A guaranteed 10 inches to your vertical. Go to DreAllDay.com/jump. Get the jump manual. When you get it, I'm going to give you 5 free hoop handbooks or any free DVD. All you got to do is email me the receipt. DreAllDay.com/jump.
This is Jay from Harlem, New York. Work on your game.